In the state of Utah, Travis Wayne Goodsall, there's a mantra, a theme in which they have over $1 billion in savings, but for the poor, they don't want to help us, to provide us with resources to pull us out of poverty. And their reasoning is that they want to incentivize us to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps. And that's atrocious. But this comes from the church, as the church doesn't really want to give assistance to anybody. It's sort of expected that you're a faithful, full tithe payer, and therefore you've got a job, and you're doing well being a single parent income household, despite the economy, and therefore you don't need assistance from the church. And if you do, it's because of a natural disaster that's only going to be temporary until the insurance money comes and you buy a new home or rebuild or repair your home. And so the poor are treated to this incentive philosophy that's inhumane. It's literally inhumane. The people who need help are not being given the help, or are given below substandard treatment as a form of torture, as a form of abuse, and they call it an incentive. And there's a reason why south of the border has lost its membership. When Nelson took over, he did a tour down there and all over the world to the places that were not attending church. Mormon leaked it, and that's why we know what his reasoning for going to those countries were, is because Mormons in those countries were giving up on the church. And they're third world countries, and so the people are poor, and we've heard the stories. They sell their last chicken so that they can be temple endowed, and they have to walk there for days and spend only one day at the temple to take care of the initiation rites. And you see the church building these very nice, very expensive, very property rate values rising buildings, temples in these third world countries. And it's a mockery to the poor who have only one chicken to live on. And we know this from the Book of Mormon. We see the bad examples of the Great and Abominable Church, King Noah, the Zoramites, about how they neglected the poor because they were poor because of their wickedness, not because the jobs ran out, as in the case of the Zoramites. But it shows the true character of a religion on the treatment of the poor in the neighborhood around them. We see the Catholic Church taking better care of the poor than the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And we all know now, thanks to the whistleblower, that the church is vastly wealthier than the Catholic Church, despite their Vatican archives and the bones of St. Peter. The church is still wealthier. And yeah, I mean, it's horrifying that the church would be so inhumane and say that they are required to work out their own salvation, as Bruce R. had said. I never did get to slicing up that video of his and doing videos on every single sentence that came out of his mouth. I was just using it for the latter days being a nuclear holocaust, as Putin was attacking Ukraine because of Nelson having paid for it. You remember those days? It was a different background, didn't have as much hair. But yeah, the church is cruel. That's all there is to it. They are sitting on their lavish thrones, their lavish buildings, with their lavish wealth, as they tell us to put our trust in Jesus. Jesus will solve all our problems. Jesus will make us rich. Jesus will heal us. Jesus will give us peace. It's a big con, guys, because priestcraft, as defined, exposes the church as being guilty. And we didn't need to have Elder Irene's paycheck stub leaked from Mormon leaks either. We already knew it by the way they are. But yeah, they don't retire and live off their retirement as normal people do. They get paid by the church for working on how to torture Mormons around the world and make business deals with our enemies. Saudi Arabia being the latest. So don't be surprised if a temple comes out for October conference in Saudi Arabia. Oh man, do you think they would go for that? They're pretty tough on women, let alone other churches. But that'd be interesting. And so, yeah, the incentive to do better is to give people actual resources, not just call it by name. Because I'm a lifer here. There is no resources to get me a place to live. I got everything else all set, ready to go, and then boom, hit the wall of no place to live. So, alrighty.